Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Cozy Christopher. I wanted to do this review on the Hisense H9G, kind of what it's been like to own this since, I guess, August at this point. And one of the things that I wanted to touch on is the experience, and I really wanted to wait until the next-gen gaming systems came out so that you all could see how it plays. One of the big ticket items or big things that everyone has been paying attention to in this new gaming climate is VRR, FPS 120 frames per second at 4K, and whether or not the TV can handle that. I will say, and I will make a disclosure, that that's a fairly recent technology. So a lot of people are deciding what they're going to spend their money on for technology that they have not to this point ever been able to experience. And yes, it is a really great technology, but I do want to point out the fact that it is not something that you should primarily focus your buying decisions on, especially if you've never been a PC gamer and never have experienced that type of, experience before, whereas the frame rates match the output from the gaming, especially if you're a console player. If you primarily play consoles, it's probably something you've never felt before, and it should not determine whether or not you'll spend $600 versus $2,000 on a television. So with that, let's get into the review. And then, of course, any questions that you have, as always, put them in the comment section below. As always, please like, share, and subscribe, and hit the bell icon notification for all videos so that you know all the content that I come out with. So yeah, let's get into the review. Okay, so let's start here. This is the type of video that you always see when you see these televisions hanging in the stores. And this was the video that I displayed on my first review, just so that I could show you all what the TV was capable of. So these videos are designed to show all the strong attributes of a television. And they do a really, really good job of letting you know what a picture can look like in the best of circumstances. That gives it an equal playing field when compared to other television sets. And here we are about 3 updates or 3 firmware updates later. I didn't notice the issues. There were some massive issues going on at first where people were having the red ghosting around characters on the screen, and they also were having, for instance, in the background on a dark screen, there would be a really, really bad halo effects around the darkly lit subjects like this particular picture there. I didn't see those. And there was an issue later on with flickering every once in a while, where the screen would flicker profusely when it got to a white screen, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But here is the TV today as of December 16th, I think, today, whatever today is, or it depends on when you're going to watch this video, but December 16th, 2020. This is what the picture looks like. And so the picture is still, it's a really great picture. Of course, again, this is like the best of all situations. This video was, created by Hisense to show what their TV was capable of, and it is capable of a lot. So I will say, to this date, the picture quality is still phenomenal, and that is still based on the signal that it's receiving. So because this is an internal video, you're seeing, the best possible. Now, when you're watching live television, when you're watching recorded video or streamed video through the internet and different things like that, your picture will vary because the sources will vary, and the content within those sources as well as the quality of those sources will vary. But this is the best that the television can produce. And keep in mind, this is a video of what it looks like. So your camera. Okay, so for the home screen and the Android system, there's a lot to unpack here, but I have been working through this for about 5 months now, and I really, really, really like it. This is one of the best, for me, one of the best operating systems available, in my opinion. I do really like the WebOS for LG, but I think it may be time for a little bit of an overhaul for that WebOS, but I think they kind of have the mindset of if it's not broke, don't fix it. But this particular Android TV operating system works really well. It's fluid and it's easy to get in and out of the applications when you're switching back and forth. There on the remote, there's your four main keys: YouTube, Netflix, Voodoo, etc. But there's also other applications because of the Android system that you can get, of course. But I do really like the way that this is set up. And again, I think it's fluid. I think the TV is snappy. I think the operating system works really, really well, getting us, where we're trying to get. I think, some of this may be based on your internet connection as well, like when you're loading video and stuff like that. So take that with a grain of salt, depending on what the connection the TV is receiving, whether it's a strong Wi-Fi signal or, perhaps plugged into Ethernet, may dictate a little bit about how the snappiness moving in and out of the system. But there is also one caveat that I want to point out, is that this television has a horrible memory capacity. So there's only 4.8 gigabytes of memory or something like that built into this television. So because this is an Android operating system, if you use the most of that memory, it will start running slow. So I did notice that at one point that it was running slow, and I picked up a USB drive with 128 gigs of memory on there, plugged that in, formatted it so that it would work with the television, and then those issues went away. So I will tell you that you will have to buy extra storage. So keep that in mind, because Android TV, a plus of it is that there are so many applications that you can get on this television compared to like LG, where it's kind of locked in, and then they have like a main lineup, and then they have a plethora of garbage third-party apps on the back end. But like from a mainstream standpoint, there's not a lot. But the Android operating system gives you access to the Play Store. So, I mean, the sky is almost the limit with this thing. And I will tell you that if you connect the gamepad, like a Bluetooth controller, I use one of the Xbox One controllers. I've sat there and played The Walking Dead as if I have a built-in gaming system. So that's a dream, and that works exceptionally well. That is a big, big plus for me, that I can literally turn on my remote and use it like basically a streaming gaming system, almost like Google Stadia is supposed to be, but except it works well. No jab intended there. I haven't really played Stadia yet, so I'm not sure, but I've heard it's horrible. But again, like going back to this operating system and kind of maneuvering around, it's been a joy to work with. I really, really enjoy it. Okay, so I do want to make it abundantly clear, although I have thoroughly enjoyed this television, it has not been without its issues. So I did run into a spot where the TV would basically have extreme flickering. And I don't know what the issue was with that. On the plus side, Hisense customer service was exceptional. So long story short, the flickering would not go away, and I had to contact customer service to have a repair done to the television. Now, I will say, as a person that works in professional experience, if you will, so for my full-time role, I work in talent acquisition and HR, and I am responsible for an experience for one of the largest companies in the country. But with that being said, this experience was exceptional. So from start to finish, dealing with them via the chat service, via the follow-up phone call, and then the local person that was sent out almost immediately within 3 days to look at the television and basically determine that the board was bad, and they repaired the board on site. And if it wouldn't have been for him introducing me to a brand new music group, He would have been in and out in 30 minutes, but we sat there and listened to music on the television for another 30 minutes, 6 feet apart, of course, because of the COVID situation. But it was one of the best experiences that I've ever had from a customer service standpoint. So I will say that this TV had issues, but it was quickly and efficiently fixed. So, you know, take that with a grain of salt, right? It's not guaranteed that your system or your television will have an issue, but I will say that if it does, I'm confident that due to the fact that Hisense's support teams are local to the United States, that you'll have a quick and efficient repair due to that. Outside of that, the television has been a dream. Again, I use it primarily as a television in the bedroom and primarily for consumption at nighttime. So when I'm watching Netflix as I doze off, or me and the wife, if we get a chance to wind down early and we want to watch a movie together and kind of sit in bed and finish work for the day or whatever and watch television, etc. And then recently, since the next gen came out, I will be doing a full review on the PlayStation 5 after a month, if you will. But recently with the next gen gaming, I've been bringing the PlayStation 5 up to see what this television game's like, because that has been, again, something that's very big that people have been wanting to know. And in conclusion, it's gamed well. I mean, obviously, and I will put this out there, just like my first review on this television, it's not as good as the LG C10, which is basically set up to be successful as a gaming television, as a regular consumption television, as a PC monitor, as a full-on #1 display. That television has been set up in that regards, whereas this one is your value-focused television, and for more than half of the price at the 55-inch of what I've paid for the 48-inch, this is a very good experience. Okay, keep in mind that, again, this is a recording of the screen and you're not seeing all of the brilliance or all of the color from the screen. It looks a little dark through the recording of this here in editing, but I will tell you it produces a beautiful picture, and you definitely can see that it's an HDR television, and it's very, very responsive, and no real lag time or anything like that. It's an enjoyable experience gaming, and this again is Miles Morales directly on the PlayStation 5.
And proclaiming him the hero. With an unstable energy source on the verge of wiping Harlem off the map, this unit reportedly stepped in and saved lives. Or at least that's what his supporters want us to think. The real truth is that none of this would have happened if he hadn't donned a ridiculous... Spider-Man! Show me what you got, freak! Hand him up! You saved me and my family. All right now, baby.
So this is NBA 2K21 Next Generation, meaning the one specifically designed for the PlayStation 5, but I wanted you to see a little bit of the gameplay on this as well. This plays really, really well on this television. There was a difference that I could tell very, very slightly from the LG C10, which is an OLED with almost immediate response due to the way that that TV is designed. Compared to this one in shooting. But after playing on it for, an hour or so, I was able to start hitting green again on the jump shot, no problem. But that's only a slight difference in the release. But if you own one or the other and never play the two together, you'll never know. This is a really snappy experience.
Greg, if your system overall for these teams, if the schemes don't seem to be working, how much can you really change? Junior kicks to Levine. Into the lane. No stopping him there. James again, bro. You got this. Is on Colin Sexton. All right, we'll take a look now at how the points have been generated so far. A scoring breakdown for the Cavaliers.
They definitely had a hot hand from three-point range. Always nice to get off to a good start.
I'm loving the ping-pong action of the ball tonight. A decent number of assists so far.
For Chicago, they've got 3 big shots to fall for them here in the first quarter. And Junior throws it down.
The timing on blocks was superb tonight, Junior. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, we've been working on contesting shots in practice, staying on balance, being aggressive. So that hard work paid off tonight.
So what we have here is Cyberpunk 2077. Now, listen, this is a whole nother bag of worms right now, and I'll do a review on this at some point, but on the PS5, it runs fairly decent, and that's all I'll say at this point, but it looks good, but I wanted you to see the gameplay on this television as far as Cyberpunk 2077, which is one of the larger or biggest games of the year, or was expected to be. And it is still one of the biggest games of the year for other reasons. But here it is on the Hisense H9G, kind of what you can expect on the PS5. So yeah, take that as it is. Here is some gameplay from Cyberpunk 2077. Let me know any questions or comments you have around this. I don't know what that guy's doing or what's going on here, but this is what happens when you stop on a random street in Cyberpunk. So, I mean, the game is phenomenal, and at the same time, there's a lot of bugs. And I'll talk about that later, but here it is on the Hisense H9G. Let me know if you have any questions. Here's a little bit of gameplay. Doing that.
We should be friends.
Okay, so before we get started, I want to let you know that this is a lot of me getting my ass handed to me. So this is also what happens when you stop somewhere randomly in Cyberpunk 2077. You find out really fast whether or not you're strong enough to deal with this area of the game. You have free reign to go wherever you want. But there's definitely some areas where the characters or the NPCs are just too powerful. For instance, right here, I'm behind cover, and I'm still getting shot from the left because they have ammo that goes through the cement. So I have no cover right here, and this starter handgun is not good. So enjoy me getting my butt kicked for a little bit. And one more for good measure. Here is Grand Theft Auto 5 Online. And I thought that showing this one, because it's an older game, an older architecture, you kind of see what some of the older games will look like on the Hisense H9G. So yeah, I mean, that's going to round it out, for gaming. But wanted you to see the new as well as kind of one of these older games. Although they do consistent patch or iterative releases on this one. This is old architecture again, so not the new stuff, but looks good as well. I do want to make it absolutely clear, this is definitely a TV that is worth purchasing in 2020. Again, the variable refresh rate, 120 frames per second on 4K, is not something that most games at this point are even going to be able to take advantage of, because most development has occurred years back, meaning that by the time they released it here in 2020, the technology wasn't around for it to take advantage of. So as far as those type of technologies, it's going to be 1 or 2 years, maybe even 3 years before there's going to be any type of full adoption, as well as do not forget that the actual development process to develop a game that is 4K 120 frames per second is a lot longer, more intricate process than what most of them are used to doing from a console standpoint. Now, from a PC standpoint, again, that's still fairly new in that environment as well, within the last year or so, that we even started playing 4K gaming, 4K games at a high enough refresh rate that it wasn't a miserable experience. So again, with this set, as long as the settings are in place, it looks amazing. And I don't really think that there's that big of a difference that the human eye can noticeably tell from a 120 frames per second, etc., in the regards of the console world, where the systems are kind of set in their own pattern, and not like the PC world where you can update the graphics card, the PCU, the RAM, the SSD drive that it's pulling the game from, reading and writing, etc. Whereas all of those things play a part into the PC world and how its system games and how it shows up on the monitor. The console systems are basically from start to finish. You get what you bought for, what you paid for. So yeah, keep that in mind when you're making that buying decision. Cheer. Not a lot of attendance in person. So with that being said, it's still a great signal. Looks good. No complaints here whatsoever. So there's that. So in conclusion, this is a phenomenal set. And, even with the issues that we had, that I had to have it repaired, I still think it's the best value, especially now that I know that the service is reliable and that they are here local, here to the United States. But furthermore, the experience playing on the PlayStation 5, as well as, consuming different types of media, whether it's Netflix, Disney Plus, gaming, Hulu Live, etc., it's been a dream. So I can wholeheartedly still, even with the repairs, say that this is definitely a TV that is worth the value and worth the money. And like I said, with all of that happening, my faith is kind of restored. So definitely, if you have any questions, reach out in the comment section. But this is all for now. As always, stay cozy in that crazy world. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.
Something I just wanna breathe again, dive into the deepest end. Oh, I wanna feel something. Let me get back in my body.